rap world thrives on confidence, mystery, and storytelling. But sometimes the story behind the story is more explosive than any track ever recorded. When Jim Jones recently sat down for an interview and casually dropped the line, "I wrote all his songs," referring to his longtime friend and Dipset brother Cameron, the hip-hop universe didn't just flinch. It froze. Fans of Harlem's most iconic rap duo, the Diplomats, better known as Dipset, have followed their journey for over 2 decades. They saw them rise from corner ciphers to global stages, always carrying the gritty, fly Harlem spirit in everything from their lyrics to their oversized pink furs. But now, with Jim's bold confession, that golden image has cracked just enough to let through a question that no one saw coming. What if Cameron, the diplomatic don himself, was never really writing his own rhymes? Jim Jones didn't sound bitter when he said it. He didn't look like a man airing dirty laundry for revenge. He looked tired, like someone who had been carrying a heavy secret for years and finally decided to let it go. "Back then, I was doing everything," he said. "Security, management, booking, and yeah, writing. People don't know how much I put into this." It's not the first time ghostwriting has come up in hip-hop. From Dr. Dre to Diddy, even Kanye West, many top artists have been called out for using other writers. But when it hits close to home, when it's one of the realest street rappers in New York claiming he penned the lyrics of another certified legend, it feels personal, especially when those two men were supposed to be brothers. Cameron and Jim Jones have always had a love-hate relationship. Everyone in Harlem knew that. They'd go years without speaking, only to pop up together again like nothing ever happened. But now, Jim's revelation gives new meaning to those silent years. Was Jim holding resentment all along? Did he ever feel like the muscle behind Dipset's movement, the glue that held it together, but never got the shine he deserved? "I was writing while Cam was styling," Jim said. "He had the delivery, the swag, but them bars? A lot of those were me." Whether or not every single bar was written by Jim, one thing is clear. His influence on Cameron's career is deeper than most fans ever knew. From the very beginning, it was Jim who believed in Cam's potential. When Cam was spitting on the block, Jim was the one recording it. When Cam got his first deal with Entertainment, and then with Rockefeller, Jim was in the background pulling strings, making calls, and laying the groundwork. Cameron's 2002 album, Come Home With Me, became an instant classic. It featured Oh Boy and Hey Ma, songs that charted high and made Dipset a household name. But behind the scenes, Jim was working overtime. "Cam had the shine, but I was doing the dirty work," he said. "Studio time, arranging features, writing hooks, even full verses. That was me." Reactions from the rap community have been mixed. Some fans immediately dismissed Jim's statement as cap, an attempt to rewrite history or spark a new wave of attention. Others took to social media to express shock, confusion, or even anger. "Say it ain't so." One fan wrote on Twitter, "Cameron not writing his own bars is like finding out Ghostface ain't right supreme clientele." But there's a third group, quieter but more thoughtful, who've decided to re-listen to Dipset's catalog with new ears. And when you do that, when you really listen, certain things start to stand out. The grit, the street wisdom, the hustle mentality, traits that match Jim's personality more than Cam's. Cam always had the flair, the flash, the humor. But Jim had the weight, the scars, the pain behind the punchlines. That dynamic worked beautifully in their prime. Jim played the role of the street soldier, the realist, the enforcer. Cam was the flashy general, the smooth-talking poet who could make even the grimiest tale sound like luxury. Together, they were unstoppable. But behind every duo is a balance of power. And if Jim's words are true, the balance was always tilted, just not in the way fans thought. In another clip from the same interview, Jim dropped this line, "I wasn't trying to be seen back then. I wanted us to win. I believed in the movement. But after all these years, I just want people to know the truth." Some have compared Jim's revelation to Quentin Miller's saga with Drake, or even to the Rhymefest and Kanye situation. But it's different. This isn't about a pop star with a writing team. This is Harlem. This is street rap. This is Dipset. Cameron has not directly responded, but he's posted cryptic Instagram stories since the interview went viral. One post showed an old photo of him and Jim, arm in arm, with the caption, "Legends don't compete, they build." Another simply read, "Narratives are powerful when they come from a trusted voice." Whether Cam is denying the ghostwriting claim or just brushing it off as unnecessary drama is unclear. But one thing's for sure, the conversation isn't dying down. Inside the music industry, ghostwriting has always been a taboo subject, especially in hip-hop. The genre is built on the idea of authenticity, of living what you rap. If someone else is writing your bars, it calls your whole image into question. For years, Cameron was seen as one of the rawest, most authentic rappers in the game. Now that image has a shadow hanging over it. But what if we've been looking at ghostwriting the wrong way? Jim Jones wasn't just a hired pen. He was Cam's brother, his business partner, his co-founder. If anything, their relationship was more like that of a band than a solo act. Some groups have lead singers and backup musicians, but they all contribute to the music. Dipset was more than a rap group. It was a movement. From the fashion to the slang to the way they walked and talked, they influenced a whole generation. And Jim Jones was instrumental in making that happen. His own solo career took off later with hits like We Fly High. But it always felt like he was fighting for his own lane, trying to prove he was more than just Cam's sidekick. Now, with this confession, he's rewriting the Dipset legacy with a pen dipped in honesty and maybe a little revenge. Hip-hop evolves, and so do the stories behind the legends. What we're seeing now is a shift in how credit is given, how stories are told, and who gets to own the narrative. Jim Jones is no longer content with being seen as the second fiddle. He wants his respect, not just for the hustle, but for the words, the art. Some fans are already starting to reframe their appreciation for Jim's catalog. They're quoting lyrics that once felt like Cam's voice, but now hit differently. What if that was Jim the whole time, they ask? And maybe that's the beauty of it. Great art survives even when the origin shifts. As this story continues to develop, one thing is certain, Dipset's legacy is far from over. In fact, it might just be entering its most fascinating chapter yet. One where truth, ego, history, and brotherhood collide in a way that only hip-hop could make poetic. The streets still love Cam. The streets still ride for Jim. But now, they're listening a little more closely, trying to hear whose voice was really echoing through those Harlem anthems. And in the end, maybe that's what Jim Jones wanted all along. Not to tear anyone down, but to finally be heard, fully, loudly, and with no filter.